Hello students, once again you're welcome to waidusmacademy. Today we're looking at science checkpoint grade 9, okay, and chemistry IGCSE questions. So we're doing the grade 9 checkpoint and chemistry IGCSE questions together. Now let's take a look at the science grade 9 checkpoint first. Now you see the diagram shows a flowery plant. So you can see a flower. Now we say plants need to absorb water and transport it to all of the living parts, right? Plants need to absorb water and transport it to all of the living parts, all the living parts of their body. So every water plant, first of all, plant have to absorb the water. Get it from where? From the soil, and absorb it from the soil. Now the first question is that we should name the process that the plants use to absorb water through the roots. We should name the process that the plants use to absorb water through the roots. So you know when we talk about this type of thing, there are three methods we normally talk about. Talk about diffusion, talk about osmosis, we talk about active transport. So osmosis is the movement of water molecule from region of higher concentration to region of lower concentration through a semi-permeable membrane. Okay, this process will be through osmosis. This process by which the plant absorb water from the soil. These are also IGCSE questions, mind you. Okay, it's called osmosis. These are also IGCSE questions. Osmosis. Okay. Osmosis. Okay, now is a name the tissue part. Is a name the tissue part that transport water to different parts of the plant. The tissue part that transport water to different parts of the plant. This is a xylem. Okay, you know we have in this case we have the xylem and the phloem. Phloem is to transport the manufactured organic substances to the body of the plant. If the plant manufacture food, the phloem will transport the food to other parts of the plant. But the xylem helps to transport water and mineral ions from that it absorbs from the ground to every other part of the body of the plant. So that process is called tissue that transports water to different parts of the plant is called the xylem vessel. Xylem vessel. Xylem vessel. It's called xylem vessel. Okay? So that's that for that. Then we go to the next question. It's a name the parts of the plant that loses water by transpiration. Which part of the plant? Actually, it's the leaf. But if you want to be more specific, which part of the leaf, then we can begin to talk about the part of the leaf, the palisade. Okay? So we say the parts of the plant that lose water through transpiration is the leaf. Is the leaf. Okay? The leaf. So you see it's short answers. Short answers, just one mark. Short answers. Okay? Now we move to the next question. We finish question 1A. We move to the next question. Several factors affect the amount of water lost by transpiration. Several factors affect the amount of water lost by transpiration. You know, water is lost in the leaf by a process known as transpiration. Water is lost in the leaf by a process known as transpiration. What happens is that the sun hits the leaf, okay? When the sun hits the leaf, the water that is sent to the leaf through by the xylem vessels that gets to the leaf It get heated up, it become water vapor, become water vapor. You know, water vapor is a steam. This water vapor diffuses out of this place through the stomata into the atmosphere. And then more water is drawn by the root hair cells of the plants and drawn into the leaves again. And so heated again, it evaporates by a process known as transpiration. More water comes. So it's a continuous process. So they're asking us several factors affect the amount of water lost by transpiration. Chen uses this equipment to measure the rate of transpiration. Okay, look at a thermometer to measure the temperature. This is the leafy shoots. This is the leafy shoot, and this is the layer of the soil. Here is showing the layer of the soil. This is a stopwatch to measure time. Okay, this is a measuring cylinder containing water. So there's a measuring cylinder with water with a leaf insert. A soil. This one acts as the soil, and so on and so forth. Shell predicts that the temperature of the air affects the rate of transpiration. Which variable must change to test this prediction? What should change to test this? He says that the temperature. Chen predicts that the temperature of the air affects the rate of transpiration. The temperature affects the rate of transpiration. So which variable must Chen change to test his prediction? So what should Chen change in order to test his prediction? What do we think Chen should change in order to test his prediction? You know, the factors are temperature is one of them. Temperature affects the rate of transpiration. Humidity affects the rate of transpiration. Humidity affects the rate of transpiration. Soil type. Soil type. Amount of water. Availability of water. Amount of sunlight. The sunlight. Availability of sunlight. All these are factors that affect the rate of transpiration. So the question is, Chen predicts that the temperature of the air affects the rate of transpiration. Which variable must Chen change to test this prediction? So from here, which one should he change in order to test this prediction? Sunlight, right? Okay, we can write sunlight here. The light intensity. You can write light intensity, light. You can write light here in order to test this prediction. Now state two variables that Chen needs to control in his investigation. What should he control in his investigation? What should he control in his investigation? We can control humidity, we can control the amount of water, okay? So you can control the amount of water, right? You can control temperature, right? Right? You can control temperature. You can control humidity, right? You can control the amount of, you can control the soil type and so on and so forth. Okay? Now let's go to say, describe how Chen measures the rate of transpiration. How he will measure the rate of, it's just one mark, so your description shouldn't be too much. Describe how Chen measures the rate of transpiration. Okay? First is, there's a stopwatch. You look at what you have. There's a thermometer to be reading the temperature, right? So there's a time to measure how long it takes. There's water, so we check So we say he measures the temperature of the air or of the environment. So chair measures the temperature, measures temperature. He measures temperature. So I write, we abbreviate temperature. He measures the temperature of the environment or of the air, right? Then he measures the amount of water that is absorbed. So we just summarize it. He measures the amount of water that is absorbed, or the amount of water in the cylinder. Water in cylinder at the start, water in cylinder, volume of water at the start. You can just say volume of water at the start, and then he can find the volume of water in the end. Okay, so volume of water at the start. So how much water did he put? Volume of water at the start, and then volume of water that remains at the end of the experiment. And also measures the time it takes for this to happen with the measures with the stopwatch. So this volume of water at the beginning. Then he measures the volume of water in the end to see what remains. And then he finds the difference. He knows the amount that has been lost. Volume of water in the end. So he measures the volume of water in the end to know what is left. To know what is left, and so on and so on. So it's just 1 mark. Once you give this point, you get your 1 mark. Now let's go to, it says predict the effect of changing the temperature of the air on the rate of transpiration. So changing the temperature affects the rate of transpiration. If you increase the temperature, then the rate of transpiration increases. So I will do like this. I'll use this for increment. Increase temperature. If you increase temperature, it increases the rate of transpiration. Increases rate of transpiration. Increases rate of transpiration. If you decrease temperature, it will decrease the rate of transpiration. How or why? Because the hotter the environment, the more the water in the leaf will be heated up, and the more it will be lost. So if you decrease temperature, it will reduce the rate of transpiration. Now let's move on. You say, look at this question number 2. Look at the diagram of water molecule, H2O. This is water. This is the hydrogen, 1 atom of hydrogen, right? This one. 1 atom of hydrogen here, another atom of hydrogen here. Now bonding with 1 atom of oxygen, and then bonding here with 1 atom of oxygen. Here we have the 2 inside of oxygen. The oxygen atomic number is 8. So the electronic configuration is 2,6. The first share we have 2 electrons. For oxygen. The second share we have 6 electrons. That's the 6 you see here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The dot. Okay. The first one is 2 electrons, and the second shell has 6 electrons. This is for oxygen because the atomic number is 8. Now for hydrogen, atomic number is actually 1, but it's a diatomic, H2. So this is the cross, this cross. So the bond is covalent. You can see hydrogen covalently bond with oxygen here, also bond here. Now if you see, hydrogen is now complete because the minimum you should have is 2. Hydrogen is now complete because it's bondy. It has only 1 before. 1 hydrogen atom has 1 electron, right? So It has one before, but it now bond with oxygen here. So hydrogen is complete 2, which is the minimum you should have in your first shell. Hydrogen is complete here. But in your second shell, the minimum you should have is 8. Because oxygen combined with hydrogen, it so is now also complete 8. Look at it. 1, 2, for oxygen, we are counting now. 1, they are sharing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So oxygen, the second share of oxygen is also complete 8 now because it's sharing with hydrogen, 2 atoms of hydrogen. And hydrogen's first shell is complete 2. Each of them is complete 2 because it's sharing with oxygen. Now it says state the type of bonding in water molecule. State the type of bonding. Covalent bonding. So what you see here is covalent bonding. Covalent bonding happens between non-metals. Okay, hydrogen is a non-metal and oxygen is a non-metal. So the bonding here, you just write covalent. Okay, it's just you don't have to spend too much time. You write covalent. You write what? Covalent. So the bonding here is a covalent bonding. So we write covalent. Okay, and then the next one I explain how you can tell. In covalent bond, covalent bond first of all between one way of telling is between non-metals. Between non-metals. So we can write between, it happens between non-metals. That's one way of telling, between non-metals. Another way of telling is that there's no, it's sharing, they share. The non-metal, they share electrons. Okay, they share electrons, they don't donate. It's not like metal and non-metal. You know, ionic bond is between metal and non-metal. In ionic bonding, the metal they donate, the metals they donate the electrons and give to the non-metals. So this one, another way to say to get your second mark, you say sharing electrons. They're sharing electrons. They're sharing. No one is donating and giving the other one. Okay, sharing electrons. You say they are sharing electrons. So that you can get your 2 marks. Okay, you say they are sharing electrons. You say they are sharing electrons. Okay, so we get these 2 marks. If you can give this, you get these 2 marks. Now we move to the next question. Say, an oxygen atom has an electronic structure of 2,6. Now, to which group of the periodic table does oxygen belong? Which group? Which group in the periodic table does it belong? Okay? It belongs, you know, group are determined by the electron, your last electrons in the structure. Okay? If your last electron in your shell, first of all, if you have your periods are determined by your number of shells. Your group in the periodic table are determined by the last number in the structure. Okay? For example, if you say sodium, you know the atomic number is 11. So the electronic structure or the electronic configuration is 2, 8, 1. Okay, so it means sodium belongs to group 1 in the periodic table. But for oxygen, it's 2, 6. It means it belongs to group 6 in the periodic table. So which group does it belong to in the periodic table? This one belongs to group 6. You can write it like this or you write it in the Roman figure. Group 6 is like this in the Roman figure. Okay, 6 is like this in the Roman figure. So you can write like this or you write like this. So it belongs to group 6. Okay, in the periodic table. We move on. So we're done with question 2. We're done with the question 2. Now we go to question 3. Question 2 is chemistry. Question 1 was biology. We look at the way they brought the question. Question 1 was biology. Question 2 is chemistry. Now we go to question 3. Question 3 is physics. Question 3 is physics. See the way they bring you the checkpoint? They're mixing them up because it's a combined science. Now, URI investigates some sound waves. Sound waves can interact to reinforce or cancel each other. They can either interact and become stronger and reinforce, or they can cancel out each other. Or they can cancel out each other. Okay? Okay, now he said URI looks at the waveforms the sound waves make on an oscilloscope. Now complete the two diagrams to show what happens when each pair of the waveform interact. So when they interact, waveform 1, waveform 2, this one you can see is on the same side. Here and here same. Okay, so if here and here look is same, then when they interact, it will get bigger. Right? It will get bigger. When here same, when they interact, it will get bigger. Here same, when they interact, it will get bigger. But here on the opposite side, they will cancel out each other. Here, cancel out here. So here, you just have something like this. Something like this. That's it. It cancels out each other. When you add waveform 1, waveform 2. But this one, when you add them, it gets bigger. It gets bigger than it was in the first case. It gets bigger. It gets bigger. Okay, so this is what you get for this one, and this is what you get for this one. Then you get 3 marks. If you just draw this, you get 3 marks. Okay, we go to question 4. Question 4 will be either chemistry or biology again. Now here we're going to the carbon cycle. We're going to the carbon cycle, right? Now here we're going to be asked some questions in this carbon cycle. So the diagram, you know, this one we did in chemistry, including all of you. Okay, we did this one in chemistry last time. If you watch our video on the carbon and carbon cycle, okay, if you've seen our video on carbon and carbon cycle, you know that this one we have done this one, right? We have done this one. Now here, you see the diagram shows part of the carbon cycle. Here you have carbon dioxide in the atmosphere or in the air. And here you have green plants. You have the green plants. Here you have the animals that eat the green plant. You know, they also give carbon dioxide through a what process? They want to be asking us, through which process do animals give carbon dioxide to the atmosphere? Okay, they're going to ask us that, which is respiration. So they will ask us to name each process. You know, when we breathe, when animals breathe, when they respire, they give carbon dioxide to the atmosphere. So I'll just write it for short because the space is not enough. Respiration. Now, what of plant? Through which process also they give air to the atmosphere is also respiration. Here is also respiration. So B, that's why it's same. Yeah, that's why it's same. So we list them here. We list them in this place. You say the boxes A, B, C, and D show 4 important processes in the carbon cycle. Name each of these processes. Process A is what? What is process A? Where you have the carbon dioxide all the way to make it the fossil fuel. Okay? What is it? Carbon dioxide dissolved in what? In air. Carbon dioxide dissolved in air. Oxygen, right? They dissolve in oxygen, right? Okay, we say carbon dioxide taken by the green plant and the green plant to fossil fuel. So the process by which the green plant take carbon dioxide is what? The process by which the green plant take carbon dioxide is what? Photosynthesis, right? So A is photosynthesis. The green plant take the carbon dioxide from the air by what? By photosynthesis. You remember photosynthesis? In photosynthesis, carbon dioxide in the air react with the water from the soil of the plant to make glucose. This process is photosynthesis. Remember this. But in the presence of sunlight, okay, chlorophyll and sunlight. Chlorophyll contains the green pigment to trap the sunlight energy in order to make the glucose. The glucose, okay. This process is known as photosynthesis. So when we have the plant, the green plant taking carbon dioxide in the air. This plant take this carbon dioxide. This carbon dioxide is coming from the air. So the process is called photosynthesis. So here, point A, we write photosynthesis. 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 Now, B is respiration. I told you the green plant also respire and give back carbon dioxide to the air, and also the animal also respire to give carbon dioxide to the air. So B is respiration. B is respiration. When the plants and the animal respire, they give carbon dioxide back to the air or back to the atmosphere. So B is respiration. Now let's see what C is. B is respiration. C is, which process is this carbon dioxide from fossil fuel returned back to the atmosphere? Is burning, or you write combustion. I think combustion will be burning of fuel, or you write combustion. C is burning or combustion. So I use the word combustion. So C is combustion. So burning of the fossil fuel, like you take petrol to drive a car, the petrol will react with oxygen in the car or the air to burn and produce carbon dioxide and water. This carbon dioxide is returned to the atmosphere whenever we drive cars, whenever we use fossil fuel. Okay, whenever we use fossil fuel, this one is returned. Then what about the process by which the green plant gives to animal? What is it called? Give carbon dioxide to animal. What's it called? By which D is the process by which green plant give carbon dioxide to animal. What's that process? You can call it feeding or nutrition. So feeding. You can call the process feeding or you call it nutrition. So this D is feeding. So when you're able to do this with science, you get this format. You get this format. Remember, this also can be in the chemistry paper. This same question can be, because we studied this topic in chemistry last time in our last video in the carbon cycle. So it can be, you see why sometimes we bring this grade to join to do the IGCSE papers, okay, science. Now, the B part is coming from electricity. The A is chemistry or biology. The B is coming from physics. Electricity is often generated using fossil fuel. Many countries generate their electricity using renewable energy resources such as wind turbines and solar panels. And predict the effect of using renewable energy resources rather than fossil fuel on the carbon cycle. Okay. You reduce if you're using fossil renewable energy like wind or this, you reduce the release of CO2 into the atmosphere because it's green energy. Reduce the pollution. So when you're using renewable energy like solar panels, or you're using wind turbine, you reduce CO2 in the atmosphere. So you help to reduce CO2 in the air. As in, you reduce pollution. Reduce CO2 in air. Because if you're using fossil fuel, you are adding CO2 to the air. When we use when you're using a non-renewable resource like fossil fuel, anytime you use the fossil fuel, you are adding more pollution into the air. So this one, another you can say reduces pollution. You can even write reduces pollution when you use the renewable energy. Okay, you say reduce pollution, because pollution is bigger than, it's not only limited to CO2. Reduces pollution. Okay, reduces pollution when you're using renewable energy. Okay, it guarantees us a clean environment. Clean environment reduces pollution, clean environment, and so on and so forth. Reduce CO2 and so on and so forth. Explain the reason for your prediction. You say predict the effect of it. Explain the reason. Okay, one, to have a pollution-free environment, and moreover is sustainable. Fossil fuel finishes. Renewable energy is sustainable. You can give this reason. Renewable energy resources are sustainable. They don't get finished. Renewable are sustainable as they don't get finished. The sun, the energy from the sun can never get finished. Okay, but fossil fuel can finish. Remember that. Non-renewable resource can finish, but renewable resources, okay, does not finish, does not get finished. Okay, or you can say it's sustainable. Does not. For the lower grade, you can write the word does not get finished. For higher grade, you can say it's very sustainable. Does not get finished. Okay, that's one reason why we predict using the fossil fuel. Then it guarantees us a clean environment. It guarantees us a clean and sustainable environment. Clean, that's an environment that is not polluted. Clean and sustainable environment. Or you write for lower grade, you can say clean and healthy environment. Let's use clean and healthy. Clean and healthy environment. So it's better to use the wind turbine to generate electricity, or you use solar panel to generate electricity, than using the fossil fuel that most of the countries are using. Unfortunately, most countries are using the fossil fuel to make electricity. Most countries in the world, they're using the fossil fuel, they're using the petroleum to heat the turbine, to heat the water in the turbine, and the water becomes steam, and they use the steam to turn the blades of turbine to produce electricity. Okay, that's that for that question. Let's move to the C. Scientists uses evidence of climate change. See, another climate change, which we did in chemistry. Another climate change question, which we did in chemistry. Another climate change question, which we did in chemistry. Now, scientists use evidence of climate change to predict damaging effects on ecosystem. Now, state one piece of evidence for climate change. One evidence that is obvious of climate change: increasing temperature, right? Increasing temperature, the melting of the polar ice is an evidence of climate change. Desertification, desert encroachment, any of these, desert encroachment, increasing environmental temperature, or increasing temperature of our environment. Our environment is getting hotter. Our environment is getting hotter. Or our environment is getting warmer. So our warm environment is an evidence that there's climate change. Pollution, deterioration of health, okay, health deterioration, and so on and so forth. These are all this. You can write any 1 point. You just need to write 1 point to get the 1 mark. It's just 1 mark. If the question carries 1 mark, just write 1 point. No need to be writing long sentences. Suggest two effects of climate change. Two effects. What does it cause? Climate change can cause what? What does it cause? Okay? Suggest two effects of climate change. What does it cause? We talked about them a lot last time, right? What are the things it can cause? Right? One is that the melting land ice in the Arctic region, ice will start to melt. Storm, flood, and wildfire will be more frequent, right? We say storm, flood. You can see recently there are so many floods everywhere, many countries. Every year during rainy season, many countries are being flooded, right? So storm, floods, and wildfire. If you look at US and Australia, they visited with a lot of wildfire. So these are damaging effects of climate change. These are the big effects from climate change. Okay, wildfire. All these things are coming from as a result of climate change. So these are damaging effects. So we say storm, flood, wildfire will be more frequent, right? One consequence of climate change will be more frequent. Okay, that's one. They asked us to give two, so you have to give 2 points to get the 2 marks. It will be more frequent. In the exam, you don't write beyond this dot. You come here, you write it here. There's a space here, okay? Then the second one, we can write the second one, right? Any point you can remember that happens, species that cannot adapt to the changing climate will die, right? That's also another point. Many species that cannot adapt will die. More drought will happen, right? It's likely to happen, which will lead to famine. Famine like no food. So frequent drought. Can I frequent drought? Frequent drought. Frequent drought. And when there is frequent drought, what will happen? It will lead to what? Famine. Frequent drought will lead to, I just put an arrow to show it leads to famine. Famine is when there is no enough food or they didn't survive. And then there's hunger in the land. Famine. Okay? So they asked us for 2. These 2 will be sufficient for us to get our 2 marks. More drought will happen, storm will happen, the polar ice will melt, and temperature will be increasing, species will die that cannot survive the increase in temperature or increase in the changes in the climate and everything. So that's that. Now let's go to question 5. Let's go to question 5. Question 5 is physics. It's on density. Question 5 is physics on density. Say, Lily compares the density of 3 substances A, B, and C. So look at our table of information. Look at the substance. We have A, we have B, we have C. Mass in gram and the volume in centimeter cube. So if the mass is in gram and the volume is centimeter cube, then you don't need to change the unit. You don't need to convert the unit. It's okay, it's fine. We're going to calculate density in gram per centimeter cube. So remember density is mass over volume. Remember density is equal to what? Mass. If you don't know this, then you're not fit to be in grade 9, grade 10. Okay, density is mass over volume. So what we do, we say density equal to the mass. Depending on what they want to say, calculate density of substance A here. Okay, they want us to calculate density of substance. They've done the rest. They just want us to do the density of substance A. So the mass of A is 90 grams, right? So we say 90 divided by the volume is 20 centimeter cube. So 90 divided by 20, we get 4.5. Okay, because 0 we cancel 0, this 0 we cancel this 0. 9 divided by 4 we get 4. 9 divided by 2 we get 4.5. So here our density is 4.5 gram per centimeter cube. Gram per centimeter cube. So we write our value here. Gram per centimeter cube. So we write the value here 4.5. You don't need to write the unit because the unit is already on top. You just write 4.5. We only write 4.5 here. Is that okay? Okay. Now move to the next. Say calculate the density of substance. Oh, this thing we did here, we are supposed to calculate it here. Because they've given us this space to calculate it. So you just write the answer here. Okay, 4.5 centimeter cube. 4.5 gram per centimeter cube. So you get 2 marks for doing this calculation. Now it says suggest which substance A, B, or C is a gas. Which substance? Suggest. You know, solid substance they have greater density. Gas they have the smallest. So out of these 3, if anyone will be a gas, is B, because the density is super small. 0.0032 gram per centimeter cube. So suggest which one is a gas is B. Okay, probably B. Explain your answer because the density is the smallest. Density is the smallest. Gas, they are lightest, they have smallest density. Okay, out of the 3. The bigger one probably is solid, then followed by the middle one, which is liquid. And then the smallest one is a gas because it has the smallest density. So we move on. Now we're in question 6. We're in question 6. Now we say, answer the questions about thermal means heat, about thermal or heat energy transfer. Choose from the list. Now, what is the main form of thermal energy transfer in solids? Okay, in solid is conduction. You know, we have conduction. There are 3 methods of heat transfer. We have conduction, convection, and radiation. Radiation is the method by which the heat from the sun reaches us. The method by heat is transferred through like electromagnetic wave. That's radiation. Okay, conduction is the heat transfer in the solids. Okay, vibration. Convection is the method of heat transfer by what you call the conventional current. Use a conventional current. The difference in the heat energy. Okay, so the method by which is transferred in solid is conduction. So you just write conduction here, you get your 1 mark. Conduction is the process or method by which heat is transferred in solid. So we write conduction here. Write conduction here. Now, what is the main form of thermal energy transfer in liquid and gas? In liquid is convection. Gas, probably radiation. Okay. What is the main convection? Okay. Okay. Now let's move on. It says complete the sentence using words from the list. Saucepan handles are made from wood. This is because wood is a good insulator. So you see, you take from here. Wood is what? A good insulator. Because you know the handle, we should be able to hold it. Saucepan are like your frying pan. They're made of metals, but the handles are made of either plastic or wood. Why do we do that? Because the wood is a good insulator. So they want you to write insulator here. Copper is a metal, so it's a good conductor. So for copper is a conductor, this one. Remember, we've used this. We've used the radiation, or probably we've used the conversion. So we say copper is a metal, so it's a good conductor. So copper is a good conductor. Copper is a good conductor. Now, that's that for this question. So, we go to question 7. This one also we did in biology. Okay, for those in grade in IGCSE student. So, we say the diagram shows an egg cells, and a sperm cell. This is an egg cell. This is a sperm cell. So, it has a nucleus. This is the nucleus of the egg cell. Okay, although it's not drawn to scale. Now, the nucleus of the egg cell, and the nucleus of the sperm cell both contain chromosomes. Now, what are chromosomes made of? What are they made of? What do we use in making chromosomes? Chromosomes are made up of DNA, right? DNA or genes. Chromosomes are made up of genes, which are made up of DNA. They are made up of genes / DNAs. Although each gene, DNA is the smallest unit of a gene. Okay, so we'll just put that and get the 1 mark. Now, it says describe what happens to the nucleus of the egg cells and the nucleus of the sperm cells during fertilization. They fuse. They fuse and develop into a zygote. So we just use brief fuses and develop into a zygote. You know, each one is a half-ploid. So they develop into a diploid, into a zygote, which contains diploid. Which develop into zygote. Okay, now which of these cells, the eggs or the sperm cell, determine the sex of the offspring? Explain your answer. Use idea about chromosomes. Which cells determine the offspring? You say which of these cells, the egg cell or the sperm cells, determines the sex of the offspring? Okay, is the sperm cells. Okay, it's the sperm cells that determines the sex of the baby or the sex of the offspring. Why? Because the sperm cells contain the XY chromosomes. Because the sperm cells contains the XY chromosomes. So the egg cells contain XX chromosomes. Okay, sorry. It contains X chromosomes. Okay, so when the eggs from the sperm cells meet with the egg cell, it becomes a female. When the Y from the male join with the X from the female, become a male. So this is how the sperm is responsible for which sex, which whether male or female. So it's an explanation. So in the explanation, we say the X from the eggs from sperm meet with the egg, become eggs from sperm meet with eggs from egg, become female. Meet with the meet with eggs meet with eggs in egg, in the egg cells. So I will just write egg. In egg, become female. I put an arrow, means it become female. Become female. Then when the Y haploid from okay, I did write from here. Let me change the color. From, let's put from sperm. From sperm meet with the X in egg, become female. Now when Y from the Y chromosomes from sperm meet with the X in egg, become a male. Meet with the X, so I just use the tip to show it's the same tip. Meet with the X in egg, meets with the egg in egg, it become what? Male. Become male. So this is why the sperm is responsible for the sex of a baby. This is why the sperm is responsible for the sex of the baby. Okay, so you do this, you get these 2 marks. Now let's move to the B part of the question. Now the drawing shows a group of cats. Although they all look different, they all belong to the same species. It's a group of cats. Even though they look different, they all belong to the same species. What term describe the differences that occur within the same species? The differences that occur within the same species. Variation, right? Variation. So you see, this is biology we've done. You can see those who are in a checkpoint, you can see when we say do with us the biology and physics, it's the same thing they will bring for you. They only make yours a bit simpler when they're setting the exam. They only make it a bit simpler. Is that okay? So it's variation. Why does the cat look different? Why do they look different? Why do the cat look different? It depends on 2 factors. One depends on the environment. Depends on the environment. It's just like the example I gave, like twin. Two in this video for this topic. If twins born by the same mom, one is left in the jungle in Tanzania to run after the animals in the jungle, and the other one is taken to Australia, and he went to the best of schools in Australia and became a medical doctor. And the one in Australia in the jungle, the one in Tanzania in the jungle, never been to school. He's just taking care of the wild animals in the bush. So these 2 people will be different. Even if they have the same, almost the same DNA or the same gene, but they will be different. They will be different. The environment plays a very big role in how you look or what you become. They will even look different physically. You will not even know they're twin. You wouldn't know they were twin. One has been in the air-conditioned environment, good facility, top of schools, used the best of manicure and pedicure all throughout his life. The other one has been in the bush, does not even have proper soap to bathe, only enter, swim in the water, and that's it, and run in the bush, and then doesn't have proper clothes, full of scratches in his body, and they're not going to look same. Even in height, they will not look same. One will be taller than the other. The one that has been eating a lot of vitamins, proteins, and this will grow bigger and grow better than the one that have been malnourished. They will not even look same, even though they are twin. So What makes this cat to look different? One of it is environment. So what makes this cat to look different? One of it is environment. Now, the other thing that make things look different is their what? The biological factor, which is their DNA. Okay, their gene. Their gene is another thing that makes them different. Even though they are the same species, they're from different parents. Even though these cats are the same species, they are from different parents. So probably they will look different. Okay, like human beings. Even if we are same species, we are human beings, but we look different. Because we are from different parents. We are from different race, different tribes, and different countries. So we look different. Some people are yellow, some people are white, some people are colored, some people are black, some people are blue, some people are other. So we look different. Is that okay? So this is what it is. Now we move to the next question. Okay, this is the end of this class. Okay, we took the first 7 questions to revise with you, and we hope that you get the scope of this one. Okay, thank you for joining us.